Hey everyone, so it's Nathan here from Cryotherapy UK Sheffield. I hope everyone is at home and staying safe during this difficult time. So the reason for my video today, I thought, seeing as we're all at home, I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to go through what you can do if you get injured at home. So just because we're at home, it doesn't mean that we still can't get injured, and as we're going through this pandemic at the minute, I thought it'd be a good way to share some advice and some knowledge with you guys that you can do if you happen to sustain an injury at home. So today I want to take you through the R.I.C.E Principle. Also known as the R.I.C.E Principle. The reason why I like to call it R.I.C.E instead of Price is a little bit of an updated version, but I feel like the P and the R, the first two principles in R.I.C.E are pretty much similar and the same, and I will explain that as I go on and start to discuss the stages of R.I.C.E a little bit further and in more detail. So the R.I.C.E Principle, R.I.C.E actually stands for something, so it is not Basmati or Uncle Ben's. The letters in R.I.C.E actually stands for something, so you have the R, you have the I, you have the C and the E, or like I said in Price, you have P, R, I, C and E. So the R.I.C.E Principle is to be applied through the acute stage of injury. So this is basically the first 3 to 7 days of sustaining injury. So this is what we call the acute stage. So this is kind of what the video is going to be about. There are also other stages in this in the process of injuries, but today we're going to focus on the acute stage and how you can use the R.I.C.E Principle when you are in the acute stage of injury. So the first letter in the R.I.C.E Principle is The first letter in the R.I.C.E Principle is R, which stands for rest. Okay, so as soon as you have sustained an injury, you need to stop exactly or whatever it is that you're doing, and you need to rest. Okay, ideally you need to rest for 48 hours and try to stay off your feet or avoid doing any strenuous activity or exercise for 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, depending on the severity of the injury. Okay. So as I mentioned before, we also have Price. The reason why I just like to go with R.I.C.E instead of confusing the principles with an extra stage is that the P stands for protect. So basically, once you have sustained your injury, you need to protect the injury, which effectively, if you are resting your injury, you're also protecting it as well, which is why I don't usually include the Price and the P in the R.I.C.E Principle. But as I know, some people do refer to it as the R.I.C.E Principle, so I think it's important to also include that knowledge and share that little bit of information. But R stands for rest, protect injury, stop what you're doing, and avoid strenuous activity for 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so the next principle in the R.I.C.E Principle is the I, and the I stands for Icing. Okay, Icing is the OG of cryotherapy. So we're going back to basics. Like I said, if you're at home and you get injured, you can't come and see your cryotherapist, which hopefully is me. So you will need to use some ice at home. So what you need to do is get an ice pack or a bag of frozen peas, whatever you need or whatever you have available and around your house. You want to apply that to the injured area, and you want to hold that on the injured area for about no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. It is very, very important you don't apply the ice for longer than 15 to 20 minutes, because if you do, it can potentially burn the skin, and that's what we don't want to happen, and we want to try and avoid that where possible. Also, you don't want to apply the ice directly to the skin. So what you need to do is you need to get the ice and either put it in a towel or put it in a bag and then apply that to the injured area. Also, another important information is you want to apply the ice to the skin and don't apply the skin or the injured area to the ice, okay? So this is another way to avoid burning the skin. You may, as you are icing, you may experience a little bit of discomfort, some tingling and some numbness and a little bit of itchiness. This is all natural. This is just your body getting used to the change in temperature, and it's a little bit of a shock to the system. Same things apply when you're using the cryotherapy and the vaporized liquid nitrogen. So don't panic if you start to feel, like these little itchy burning sensations. If it is starting to really burn the skin, that's when you need to remove it. But the initial shock and that initial change in temperature can also cause a little bit of a reaction in the skin. So just be mindful of that, and remember, don't leave it on for no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. So the reason why we use the ice when we have sustained an injury is we want to put the body or the injured area through a process called vasoconstriction. So when our blood vessels vasoconstrict, what happens is the body stops all the blood flow to that area and restricts the blood vessels. Basically, it tightens up all the blood vessels in that area, which stops the blood flow and then prevents further bleeding and helps to reduce swelling as well. Okay, so we want to do that as much as we can to the injured area to help speed up our recovery. So the third principle in the R.I.C.E principle is C, which stands for compression. So what that means is that we need to get a bandage and wrap the injured area as tight as possible to help restrict the swelling of the area, and also to help also to restrict the movement to prevent us from further aggravating that injury. So when we're applying our bandages, we want to make sure that the bandage is tight, but we don't want to make sure it's too tight. If it's loose, it's not going to be effective, and if it's too tight, then that way it's going to restrict your blood flow. So we want to make sure that the bandage is tight enough so that it's in place, it's being effective, but not too tight that it's causing the blood flow to stop to the area completely. So what that does is it helps to restrict your movement of the injured area to help prevent further damage or aggravation of the injury, and also to help prevent the swelling of that injured area. Also, another important note is that we don't sleep in our bandages. If we sleep in it, again, that can restrict blood flow, which we don't want to happen. We want to ensure that we are staying safe. So the last letter and the last principle of the R.I.C.E principle is E, which stands for elevation. So whenever we get an injury, the final step is, once we've gone through the whole principle, is to elevate our injury. So we want to keep our injured area propped up nice, either on some pillows or on the sofa or on a chair. Keep it nice and elevated to help, again, keep us off it, help us rest the injury, and it also helps with the flow of blood. It helps with the flow of it helps with the flow of blood, and helps the blood flow in that injured area to stop it from overswelling, and helps to speed up the recovery. So another important note is that to make the elevation principle a little bit more effective is to try and hold the limb or the injured area above the level of your heart, which you can do by laying flat, and then obviously, say it's your ankle, lifting your ankle and keeping it elevated above your heart. It's not 100% that you have to do this, but it is just one of those little tips and little hacks that you can do to make the elevation process a little bit more effective. If you can't manage to keep it elevated above your heart or the the level of your heart. Doesn't matter too much. It's just one of those things that can make it a little tiny bit better and help speed up your recovery. Also, another note to make is that every injury is different. Not every injury is the same. And you may have to go through all 4 stages of the R.I.C.E Principle, or some you may only need to pick and choose which is best for you. But these are the few things that you need to do to ensure if you have injured yourself at home, you're doing all the right steps to make sure you have a nice, quick and speedy recovery. So like I say, some injuries would require all 4, some may require 2, some may require 3, and some may require 1. Just depending on what is best for you, what is best for your type of injury, and whatever you feel comfortable with. So that is the R.I.C.E Principle, guys, or PRICE. Use this if you get yourself injured at home and you cannot see your therapist and you need to help speed up your recovery. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you need any more advice, need any videos, head over to our YouTube channel, drop us a message on any of our social media platforms. Make sure you're following us, make sure you subscribe. Again, thanks for watching and hopefully see you soon. Stay safe, stay well and stay healthy, and thanks for watching.